welcome to Eagle Bank Arena. Thank you for being here today, Dr. Bird.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here to showcase our school spirit, school culture, and our athletic programs.
Absolutely. And welcome to our admitted students. We're so excited that you are here to learn about our community. And we're really excited to share some tidbits that we gathered earlier through some conversations.
Yes, I want to congratulate you all for being accepted to Mason. We have such an opportunity for you in terms of our athletic programs and school spirit. This is really a preview of what's to come.
And our Mason students are so involved. We can't wait to showcase all the different ways that you can become a student leader or a contributor to one of our clubs and organizations.
And first up, I had an opportunity to sit down with Shelby, our student government president, this afternoon and take a listen to what she has to say. And what's one piece of advice that you would give an incoming student in terms of how to get involved on campus?
Yeah, I would say think about things that you're passionate about, think about your hobbies, think about things you just like to do, because Mason has over 300 organizations that you can be a part of. And once you find that organization, you'll be around like-minded people, and therefore you'll find a family at Mason. And that's the point of being in college, of course, academics and all that as well, but just being able to find a place where you belong, that's like one of the best experiences ever.
Now let's take a look at some of our Welcome Week footage just to get an idea of what some of our Mason traditions are all about. We have so many different ways to celebrate our Mason spirit, and our traditions are just some of those ways. Shelby explained Gold Rush to us, which is one of the great ways that students can get involved around the athletic season.
Like, what's your favorite Mason tradition?
Yeah, I would have to say Gold Rush. That is an amazing experience, just being able to watch our basketball team play and cheering them on while you're with friends. And then, of course, the food, too. That's really good. And I really like Green Machine because they often play like songs that are popular nowadays as well. So I would say Gold Rush is definitely a great experience.
And next up, we have Doc Nix with our Hall of Fame Associate Athletic Director, Darryl Green, singing the fight song.
And hail to George Mason, don your green and gold. We're going to sing for George Mason, patriots brave and bold. We're going to cheer for George Mason, proud for the world to see. We'll prove our honor and might, and we'll fight, fight, fight as we march onward to victory. Hey! You know it.
Hey, you guys are not just an afterthought. You guys are part of the fabric of our community economics moving forward. You're the future voters. You're the future investors. You're the future leaders. And so even with this is bigger than people might think. But this is who we are as Mason, as individuals and as collective. And we're fighting, and that's why I love that last part. And we'll fight, fight, fight as we march on to victory. I love that part.
Thanks, man. 2, 1, 2, ready, and.
I had a conversation earlier today with Jock Nix, who's the director of the Green Machine. He's very emblematic of Mason School spirit. Let's hear from him about the Green Machine.
Green Machine is a performing arts organization. We'll call it co-curricular. There's some classes you can sign up for that'll help you move towards your degree. But there are also extracurriculars going on. You know, we're a real family working on figuring out ways to engage with the community and build ourselves up as artists, as activists, you know, just great community members. And then we do that through dance, through music, through poetry. That fight song, you know, it's easy to think the fight song is something we do to cheer on just the team that's on the court at the time. But, you know, that fight song, especially as we get to that last line of prove our honor and might and fight, fight, fight as we march onward to victory, you know, that's for every Mason Patriot. Anybody's victory is all of our victory. And so it's like that kind of thing is where the school spirit goes beyond just because you have a jersey on or even just because you're even wearing your colors or your shirt. You're part of us, and like I said, everything that goes well for you is for all of us.
Along with Doc, I also got to chat with Nellie, who is a local Fairfax native and one of the vocalists for the Green Machine. For incoming students who want to get involved, what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I would say come at it without fear, without hesitation, and without expectations. Because honestly, if when I was a freshman somebody told me that I would regularly be singing in front of stadiums full of hundreds or thousands of people, I wouldn't believe you. So yeah, no fear, no expectations, just go try things and you're gonna find your niche, you're gonna find your friends, your family, and your group.
Absolutely.
My favorite moment so far, and one of my favorite experiences overall at my time in Mason actually happened fall semester freshman year. It was when we all in the Green Machine got to participate in Mason Madness and got to put on a whole production, a whole show for that. And that was just an awesome way to see the band come together and see how we all, you know, it's a 200 plus person band. So to see all 200 minds thinking and working together and to see how we bond together, it was incredible. And
Next, I had an opportunity to interview Brad Edwards, our athletic director and also a Super Bowl champion with the Washington football team. Let's hear what he had to say.
I have a really interesting background. I think, you know, at least I like to think it's interesting, but, you know, certainly played, you know, athletics and in college, played at the University of South Carolina, was a football player, and was very, very fortunate to be drafted in the NFL and the 1988 draft, spent 9 seasons there, a good bit of it here with the Washington football team, and alongside, you know, one of our other greats here, Darrell Green, which is also on our staff, and had a chance to win a Super Bowl and spent a good bit of my, you know, time in the off seasons coming over to Mason, watching events here, family shows, concerts in this building right here, and running on the track that's right outside my office in the field house.
And Brad gave us some great advice for our incoming students. Again, let's hear what he had to say.
You're going to have an amazing experience here, and and it can be whatever it is that you want it to end up being, and from just student life to your academic pursuits to research to internships to whatever those things are. This is going to open up and be a life-changing experience for you.
Thanks, Brad. This has been great. And again, like you, I cannot wait to pack this stadium and let's get back to showing our Mason pride.
There you go. Go Patriots.
Tried to step through. Now Walhorn will drive. She's got it in one. Walhorn. A deep three. She's got it to go off the right side.
This one sent to left field, very well hit. To the track, to the wall, see it.
To the middle, flips it over to A.J. Wilson, who throws it down.
There's so many different wonderful opportunities to get involved through Mason Athletics. Let's hear from Steve and Tim as they talk about the men's club hockey team here at Mason.
We are part of the American Collegiate Hockey Association, so we're a non-varsity hockey program. We currently are in Division I. Initially, we were a Division III program, and we have roughly 25 to 30 guys on the roster from all parts of the country. It's been.
Tim had a lot to say about being a Mason Patriot. Let's hear from him about his experience.
Being a Mason Patriot, I think it means you have pride in being a Mason student. It's wanting everybody to do well around you, not just yourself. You're willing to go the extra mile for your friends to help them with their schoolwork, or if they're feeling down, just to lift them up. And I think it's really just being grateful for the opportunities that Mason gives its students.
Jasmine also had a chance to sit down with us today, and she represents so many different forms of involvement: student leader, student athlete, and a Mason graduate student. Let's hear about her story.
Overall, the team atmosphere was great. The track and field team, all the other sports teams that I've come into contact with, they've just been they've been great people. And having that chance to be a Division I athlete in college was just surreal to me. I would have never even guessed, especially for track and field. So it was a dream come true.
Returning to our conversation about Mason traditions, Jasmine had a lot to say about homecoming.
The different events that are listed and lined up and put together by people here at Mason, it's phenomenal. It gives you a chance to see the diversity of the campus, what people like, and just meeting different people at these events is always super fun. I consider myself a very social person, and even if you don't, it's still fun to just go out there and experience new things for sure.
Great assist. Now let's take a look at some Mason history. Mason's run to the Final Four in 2006 really set the standard in terms of our school spirit and made us a household name. And we've been building on it ever since and created a culture where students love and engage with our athletic programs and enjoy everything that we possibly can provide.
And that spirit is really felt here today. Even though we're in a quieter Eagle Bank Arena, it's something that students can really expect from their Mason experience.
And also, I had an opportunity to sit down with Darryl Green this afternoon. Let's take a look at what he had to say. All right, well, it is such a pleasure to be here today with NFL Hall of Famer and Redskin legend Darryl Green. Can you please start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Mason?
Well, I grew up in Houston, Texas. Interestingly enough, I grew up in a bad, kind of a tough situation. I actually lived in the same project that George Floyd lived in. I was on food stamp, free lunch, all that. So I'm that kid, and we went to an NAIA school, Texas A&I, now called Texas A&M Kingsville. Dropped out of school one year after the first semester. Went back a year and a half later. 3 years later, I was first round draft pick to a Super Bowl champion at that time, the former Washington Redskins. And I've been here ever since, roughly 38 years. Used to train right here at this school. This is how I got introduced to George Mason.
Darryl had a lot to share about the potential of George Mason athletics moving forward. Again, let's hear what he had to say.
This school, as long as it's been here, it's still got, it's like me when I came out of A&I, man, this guy's got potential to be, a Pro Football Hall of Famer. It's like this school has still got even more.
And Darryl provided some great advice to prospective students and new students about what they can do to get involved coming into our institution.
I would say to young people, come and be willing to embrace the culture, the people, because we are a very diverse school. We're a very diverse university. We have it all, and be willing to taste a little bit of all of it and say, open up, let us in, and also let some of you out to us. That's what makes George Mason University, George Mason University.
Yes.
And the other thing, at 61 years old, thank you very much. I know I look good. That's cool. But I would say, don't forget to have fun. Come on this campus, because it's going to be like, oops, it's over. You're graduating? You're a senior? Yeah, that's what's going to happen. So come over here and have some fun.
We hope you enjoyed the Patriot Pep Rally. It's been a pleasure showcasing our athletic programs and our school spirit to you, and we look forward to seeing you on campus soon.
Absolutely. And to our admitted students who tuned in, thank you. And we invite you to join us next for our live student panel to hear directly from current students about their experiences.
Go Mason.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our virtual Patriot Pep Rally. My name is Jeff Fusco, and I'm the Senior Assistant Director of Regional Admissions here at George Mason University. I'm an alum of Mason. I originally attended and graduated back in 2013 as an out-of-state student. So the school spirit and the campus pride is something that is near and dear to my heart. The Mason student experience helped me to become the person that I am today. And so I'm excited that you all are here tonight. I'm excited that you all are considering Mason as an option, and that we've been able to bring our virtual campus involvement in our spirit to you at your homes. We have assembled a rock star panel of students who are going to share a little bit about their experience. We want to hear from you, though. We want to ask the questions that you want answers to. And so in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you will see a chat bubble. In that chat bubble, you can go ahead and submit any questions that you have for our panelists, and they will be happy to get those answered for you. We also have some admissions representatives that are available. If you scroll a little further down your screen, you'll see if you have specific questions specifically for the Office of Admissions, There are 2 different rooms, those for residents of Virginia and those for our out-of-state students or international students that can feel free to join either of those rooms and get your questions answered. But I hope you have enjoyed a sneak peek of what our campus experience is like. This was a little more focused on athletics and some of our larger programs, but we hope to help you learn a little bit more about all the other great involvement opportunities that our campus has. And so without any further delay, I'm going to pass things over to our student panel to introduce themselves, and then we'll get started on our questions. So go ahead, Ariana.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ariana Lewis. I am a junior, so class of 2022. My hometown is Yokosuka, Japan. I'm actually a military kid, so I've lived like all over the world. So I don't really have a home. It's wherever my family is, to be honest. My major is sport management with a minor in marketing. And for like my campus involvement experience, I'm a student athlete, so I swim on Mason's varsity team. And there's just like a lot that comes with being an athlete, a lot of great things actually. And I'm super like excited to be here. And I'm so sad that I only have like a year and a half left. Like time flies like so fast.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is David O'Connell. I am a senior, so I'm graduating in 2021. My hometown is Rochester, New York. I'm a government and international government and international politics major, and I'm the student body vice president. So yeah, I'm also very sad, and your time will go very quick here, but I've had an awesome time, and I'm looking forward to graduation, but I'm excited to be here.
Howdy, everybody. My name is Jacob. I'm a junior from Tarrytown, New York, which is like just a little bit north of New York City. But right now I'm living off campus with some friends of mine. I am a religious studies major, which very few people are involved in, but for those who are involved in, there are a lot of questions. So if you have anything for religious studies majors, I'm got you. And for campus involvement, I am a Mason ambassador. I'm actually the president of Mason Ambassadors, and that's our campus tour guide group here at Mason. And I also have a part-time job in the Office of Admissions.
All right, awesome. Hi, everybody. My name is Nicole. I'm also a junior. I'm from Fredericksburg, Virginia, which is about an hour south of here. I'm a biology major, and I'm trying to get a concentration in biopsychology, but that hasn't exactly gone through yet. But so as far as my campus involvement experience, I am the representative of Green Machine for today. I have been in Green Machine since my freshman year of college. I've also been part of this organization called Alpha Phi Omega, which is National Service Fraternity. I've been a few clubs like Salsa Club on campus, and I've also done a bunch of other like PAC events, which is the Patriot Activities Council, which hopefully you guys will come to know very soon. But anyway, I'm very glad to be here and welcome everybody. But yeah.
So the first question that we have is that Mason has a lot of different themed weeks throughout the year. And we learned a little bit about Welcome Week in the video. We learned a little bit about Homecoming, but do you have any other favorite weeks that happen on campus? And what are those events like? What do you enjoy about them?
Okay, I guess I'll go. So I think my favorite memory for athletics, it would be going to the basketball games, but also going to men's volleyball. They are super good, and the energy at the rack, which is one of the gyms on campus, is crazy. Like it's usually packed for men's volleyball. And I think for like on campus things, it would probably be Mason Day. That's super fun. It's kind of like a fair. There's a lot of like food places, and like they bring in like these big like rides, and you can just do like a whole bunch of things on Mason Day. We even have like famous performers who come. So I think it was 2 years ago. Sage the Gemini came, and also Queen Naja. So they're super popular. Like you've definitely heard their music, and I was actually very fortunate to meet them. So and to take a picture with them. So like, I think that was one of my favorite like Mason memories.
I have to excuse me, I have to chime in and say International Week is definitely fantastic because the Globe, one of our dining halls, goes hard on the international food they serve. And food is a big activity and a big part of my life. And so when the Globe goes hard on something, you know it's worth attending. So International Week is pretty fun.
David or Nicole?
I know for me, I haven't personally attended any of the real said weeks, but I am more I've seen a lot of the things that have gone on, and it's really cool to even see if you're not super engaged in those weeks. You can definitely see the just the general vibe that it brings to the whole campus. It really brings a big vibrancy to campus.
Just to capitalize and touch on what everybody else has said, I'd have to say I'm a fan favorite of Homecoming and Mason Day, both of which are Mason Day absolutely blew me away my freshman year. I wasn't expecting to have such an awesome event. It was just not what I was expecting, and it was fantastic. And Homecoming's always a blast. Even the virtual homecoming we had was fantastic. So yeah, those are some awesome events.
So a big question that's on a lot of people's mind right now is, what is campus like with COVID, and how has your how has it impacted your experience?
I'll go ahead and start that one off. It's quiet. Quiet is probably the best word to use. It's been different in the sense that a lot of the things that we would normally have, we've had to find ways to do virtually. So from an ambassador standpoint, a lot of the events and normal visits that we have for prospective students are being held over Zoom, and the events for current students are being held over Zoom. And so it definitely impacts when you just walk around campus and see somebody and end up in a 40-minute conversation, because that's just what happens when you see somebody you don't get to do that as much. But I think seeing how everything has kind of adapted into a virtual setting, even if that's tiresome, has been really fantastic.
Yeah, I'll definitely chime in here. For me, I'm a social butterfly. I talk a lot. I'm very loud. I'm a very outgoing person. So pre-COVID, I was, always out and about. The dining halls were lit. Okay, so everyone would come to the dining halls and just talk and eat. You would be in there for hours, even if you had an exam the next day or you had something due at 11:59. The dining halls were where everyone was always at. And unfortunately, because of COVID and for our safety, we can't really go in there 15 people at a time. You have to reserve a spot in the dining halls, and you can only sit with one other person, which kind of sucks. But when you think about it, it's all for our safety. And being an athlete, it's very unfortunate not to have any fans in the stands, because that really gets us riled up. That gets us, ready to kick some butt. But unfortunately, we just can't have that. We have to live stream everything. And like Jacob said, it's very quiet, but Mason has done a fantastic job of offering resources and making sure that Zoom is properly working for us, and making sure that everything is normal from a technological standpoint. So I think even because of COVID, even if you don't get the traditional college life, you'll still have a lot of fun. And I think Mason's doing a really good job compared to other universities.
I will I will add,
go ahead.
Our president had announced as of Friday that we have a very promising outlook for our fall. David, I know you might have a little more to expand on there, but yeah, so we have at this time, we are planning to increase our on-campus instruction back to 75% for the fall, and really letting, as we have since the beginning of the pandemic, letting public health be our guide for this decisions that we make in making decisions that are going to keep our students, our faculty, our staff, our community safe. But go ahead, David, if you want to share any more.
No, that's actually, that set me up perfectly, because Mason has done a fantastic job handling COVID. Our community has handled it. We are absolutely one of the best schools in the nation. Our numbers have been great, and that's all because of everybody in the Mason community. And when I think of the virtual world, I think of Mason 360. all events on campus, anywhere you want to go to a student organization, you go to Mason 360. And just as all these fantastic student orgs transitioned from in-person to virtual last year, they're going to be ready to transition right back from virtual to in-person. And all these student orgs are going to hit the ground running. And they're probably still going to utilize Mason 360. So one word of advice is get on Mason 360 and become and understand how it works, because when you understand how Mason 360 works, you're going to be able to find a way to get into some awesome student orgs. So yeah.
So we have tons of questions coming in. Thank you all so much for submitting yours. We're going to try to rapid fire some of these for you to make sure we can get your questions answered. Do any of you have an on-campus job, and can any of you speak to, is it hard? Is it difficult to get a job on campus? Jacob, I know you have one.
Yes, so I have an on-campus job that's part-time with the Office of Admissions. For those of you who want more information on that, we call prospective students, it's called telecounseling. That's basically it. For on-campus jobs, there are a few ways to go about doing that. If you're interested, you can talk to people you know that you've met through other things that might have an on-campus job that know where to go. Or there's a program called Handshake, which is really good for finding university-affiliated or non-university affiliated on-campus jobs, as well as internship and research opportunities. So that's kind of like the main hub for finding those kind of opportunities as a Mason student.
So going along with that kind of thing also, throughout your different organizations, if you decide to go into those different kinds of organizations, you can also get jobs through those. For me personally, I currently work for Green Machine, and it's definitely taken a little bit of an adjustment to be online versus in person, because when I was in person, I was like seeing people all the time and like working in an office, but now everything's like telecommunicating and doing things online and things like that. But those things have definitely been arranged, and those things, if you need those kinds of accommodations, they can be accounted for through Mason. And a lot of people are very willing to work with you on those kinds of accounts.
So for me personally, I don't have a job on campus, but my advisor, so my sport management advisor, she would always send out emails with like job opportunities. So you would have like these opportunities to work for like the Washington Redskins, or like a coaching job. Like a bunch of places around Fairfax, they know that students at Mason need a job or like really want a job, so they will send in like their job listings, and advisors like in your major will tend to like send those out to you. So if you can't find an on-campus job, or if you're just not interested in staying in campus, then maybe you can keep an eye out for those job listings through your advisor.
Speaking of jobs, we've been getting a lot of questions about internships. And so how do you balance it all? Has anyone had an experience being able to get an internship? David, we did get a question specifically for you about internships in the government or political realm. So I don't know if you have any knowledge or experience there that you could share. So A, is it possible to get an internship? And if you do have one, what is that like, balancing those responsibilities with every other aspect of being a student?
This is an easy one. If you are looking for internships specifically in government, the SHAR newsletter is an incredible newsletter. SHAR being the government school at George Mason. This newsletter will provide you with internships in all areas that you want. I myself worked on Capitol Hill for an internship last year, and they're constantly updating the internships that they have on their website bulletin board. So the Mason schools, they have their internships on their websites, and they do an awesome job updating them and reaching out to you all to inform you of these jobs. So you just have to keep your eyes open and know the right places to look, but there are certainly internships out there.
Awesome. Yeah, and I would say in terms of on-campus jobs, I mean, they're plentiful. There are so many opportunities for students to get jobs, whether you are work study eligible or not. I had a job on campus more semesters than I didn't. And so I had 2 different jobs with dining at one point. I worked for our Office of Orientation at one point. And so there's tons of opportunities to get that. And sometimes those supervisors become some of your greatest mentors while you're on campus. They can be, you know, that great fusion of what you're learning in the classroom and then also the skills that you're learning in the workplace and how those two come together. So we have a few questions about not being able to participate in a campus tour right now, not being able to go on a formal campus tour, but there are students who have done a self-guided tour option. And so if a student is coming to campus to experience one of these self-guided tours, what would be some buildings or some places on campus that the four of you would recommend they check out?
Okay, well, first of all, you have to check out our newest building just because it's absolutely glorious. It's called Horizon Hall. It's like right in the middle of campus next to the Johnson Center. Just finished this semester, and by golly, it's fantastic. I'm spoiled because my advisor's office is now in there, so I get like excuses to just roll in there, but it's absolutely fantastic. If you want to see kind of the latest and greatest in the academic buildings, Horizon Hall right in the center of campus is a must-see. I stole the easy one, guys. I apologize.
It's all good. A few buildings that I would go see for sure are definitely Eagle Bank. If you end up coming to campus and like that option is available, I would definitely go and see it. It's very big. It's a lot bigger than you think it is whenever you actually go on the inside. But it's really cool. I would go there. And I would also go and check out the performing arts buildings too, because there's a lot of very interesting, just architecture is so cool in there. Just lots of cool things there. But yeah.
I'll say the JC, that is the main spot. That is literally the center of campus, I think. They have like all these different types of food. So you have Panera Bread, Chipotle, my personal favorite, sushi, and like burgers, and you just have everything. The Mason bookstore is in there as well. And we also have like libraries that are in there and a bunch of like study space, like study rooms that you can go into. It's just a multi-purpose like area. The JC is definitely one of my favorites, and you can see a lot of people like crossing and like passing by in there. So it's a pretty great like environment to check out.
Jacob certainly did steal what I would have said. Horizon Hall is going to be amazing. I was just in there the other day with my mask on, social distancing, but it blew me away when I saw it. And I'm extremely jealous I won't get to use it next semester. So everybody please enjoy Horizon Hall.
I'll actually make one more quick addition. Besides Eagle Bank Arena and the Johnson Center, kind of a fun moment of Mason campus, attached to Research Hall, which is just another academic building, is Mason's Low Light Observatory, which is the second largest one on the East Coast, which is really fun to see. And there are open showing nights on Mondays. I don't think they're doing that right now, but typically they do. So that's something to keep in mind and always fun to see.
The next question we have is about weekends at Mason. And so how do you all spend your weekends? What are the weekends like? And what's been your experience as a student? Where do you spend? Do you spend on campus? What is all that like?
So whenever I don't have like practice or like swim meets, for me, I'll typically like go to other sports games, which everyone is, welcome to if you're a Mason student. So like I said, my favorite was basketball and volleyball. Actually, our track team is awesome. Okay. They win so many championships. They're so fast, so speedy. So if you ever get an opportunity to attend one of those, that's awesome. On campus things, usually there are events going on. But for off campus, we're really close to DC. Everyone always says like, oh, like that's the only thing we ever hear about. But no, seriously, DC is awesome. You can take the metro and you're just right there staring at the Capitol. Like it's crazy. For me, I lived overseas my entire life and I've only seen like DC in my textbooks. So for me to like go in person and just see how big the buildings are and how clean it is, it's amazing. Like that's my favorite thing to do on the weekends.
Yeah, I would echo that. I mean, I know this is about your experiences, but when I was a student, I mean, I was in DC 2-3 times a month, at least, on the weekends, just being able to just like soak it all in. It never really got old to me, being able to really see, everything that the city has to offer, and even beyond kind of the tourist attractions. It's a really, really fun city to be a young person in. Anyone else want to share about their experience on the weekends?
I can go ahead and go. So like I said before, on the weekends, sometimes I would go social dancing with my my salsa club that I was talking about earlier. What my club would actually do is we have instructors for that club, and they'll go and teach out in the community, whether that's at like a restaurant or like any other kind of venue. Sometimes those have been in DC, which has been really cool to be able to experience. But yeah, so we'll go there, we'll learn whatever we need to learn, and then we'll be social dancing with both people in our club, our instructors, and just people that are in the general community. And it was a really good time, obviously before COVID happened, to be able to go and meet some new people, and especially with people that you know. So it's definitely a safe environment for that kind of thing. Also, for as far as off-campus things, one thing that I really thought was really cool was through the Patriot Activities Council. Like I also said earlier, they had this one event where you could have, like, you got like a discounted ticket and you could go to the Sky Zone trampoline park. And I went with one of my friends, and it was so much fun. I had never been before to like any Sky Zone ever. So me as like a freshman in college jumping on a trampoline, I was totally exhausted, but it was so much fun. And those kinds of events you can also see through, I think, Mason 360. But those are definitely things to check out if you have the time to on the weekends. So, yeah.
So our next question is about the residence halls, and we want your honest opinions on this one. What is it like to live on campus? Did you enjoy the residence halls? What was your experience like with that?
To make this, do any of us still live on campus? Go ahead, Ariana.
Okay, so as an athlete, I stay on campus because I'm too lazy to drive at 6 a.m. But freshman year, I was very fortunate to live in Taylor Hall. Okay, best freshman dorm you could probably be in. So I don't have a negative experience when it comes to dorms, and I don't want to give one. But Taylor Hall is beautiful. It's one of the newest freshman dorms, so you incomers will really, really enjoy it. For my sophomore year, I was living in Liberty. So again, great dorm, no fire alarms. And then now I'm in Potomac. Potomac is really nice. Okay. It's all like within the same area in President's Park. We have, quite a few fire alarms, but it's not that bad. I've always had great space. I've had great roommates. My roommates are people I would probably bring to my wedding. Like, we're all best friends. We're all like really close. And even my floor mates, I love my floor mates. I don't even know them that well, but they're super nice, super respectful. And the environment in the residence halls are great. I don't plan on moving off campus my senior year.
All right, I have to provide a slightly different opinion here. I no longer live on campus only because I have an internship which keeps me here over the summer, which becomes problematic for on-campus housing. However, there are two major neighborhoods for freshmen living: President's Park, which Ariana represents, and the Commons, which I lived in, which is also Superior. And so I just wanted to point out that the Commons is a fantastic neighborhood, centrally located next to Southside Dining Hall, and is definitely the play for all of you choosing housing.
What's funny is the Commons versus President's Park rivalry goes back to when I was a student in 2009. Like, I remember it was constantly an argument where President's Park is better. No, it's better to live in the Commons. And honestly, I think what that means is regardless of where you end up, you're going to be happy and you're probably going to rep it. And so, they each have their advantages. They're both, really great communities. And I think one of the things our housing has done really well at is all of our rooms are air conditioned and heated. So check that off, because not every school offers that. I was shocked when I found out not everyone offered that. But then also they do a really good job of keeping them updated, I think, and especially our upper class. I also lived in Potomac Heights at one point, and it was I really enjoyed that experience. The amount of space you get in those rooms are awesome. So conversely, for those of you that are living off campus right now, what is it? Is it harder to live off campus? Do you miss out on the student experience at all? Like, what advice do you give to someone, especially someone who might be local and commuting to the school? What advice would you give them for getting involved in staying engaged with the campus community while living off campus?
I know for me personally, I've only started living off campus this past year. So I lived on campus for freshman year and sophomore year. I was in Dominion Hall in the Commons my freshman year, and I was in I was in Liberty my sophomore year. Unfortunately, for only half the year because they moved us out halfway through. But I really did enjoy my time in both of those areas. But for being off campus, there's still ways that you can be involved. There are still events that are going on. Obviously, you still have to wear your mask and social distance and stuff, but there are still events that you can attend, whether that's like, you can observe, for example, you can observe a basketball game. Again, it has to be socially distanced and things, and I believe there's like a precursor that you have to go through to be able to go and attend. But there are ways that you can still be, engaged in those kinds of things.
Thank you. To move on to our next question. So we did get a question about athletic events and what the cost is. So for students, all of the athletic events are free with your Mason ID. And so you can attend any team game. And then if our parents are wondering, then there is tickets available for purchase for guests. The next question we have, David, I believe you're involved in fraternity and sorority life, correct? We have a question about what is the experience of Greek life on campus? What would you recommend about it? Can you kind of describe what it's like to be involved in a Greek organization on campus?
When I think of the Greek organizations on campus, I would definitely say the highlight is Greek Week. Greek Week is just the embodiment of a full year of what your organization does, and you work together and you do awesome performances and lip sync battles and different competitions between each other, and they get extremely fun. Everybody has an absolute ball with it. You get paired up with other organizations, so you meet new people, and it is a nonstop week that is just, I think, the highlight of everybody's year who's involved in Greek life. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say that one of the great things about Greek life on our campus is that it's available for those who want to be a part of it, but it's not the only way to have a social experience on campus and get engaged with that aspect. I, for one, never thought I was going to join a fraternity, and am actually still involved as an advisor for my fraternity to this date. And so went on to be president at one point, and so really did get very involved in the Greek experience. And I think it's because I had expectations about what it was, and I got to Mason and I realized that it really was about the brotherhood and the service and becoming a better leader and becoming a better person. And I felt like it really overall enhanced my experience. But like I said, great experience for those who want to be involved in it, but definitely not the only way to really get the most out of your Mason experience. Nicole, we had some questions about being involved in the Green Machine or any other performing arts program and not being necessarily a major. Can you speak to that, or do you know about any other kind of campus involvement opportunities around the performing arts?
Okay, yeah. I can speak to that almost, 100%. I'm a biology major, and I am in Green Machine as a non-major. You can take, we take every major, any person that wants to join. If you have no experience, if you have experience, if you're a major, if you're not a major, you can join the Green Machine. There's always ways to be involved in those kinds of things. And we encourage people to even create new ways to be involved. There was one time, I believe, someone really didn't know what they were doing, but they brought a harmonica to practice, and we had a harmonica player. We even have some new dancers for Green Machine as well. And those kinds of things as well there's just a bunch of ways that you can become involved in Green Machine. What was the other part of that question? I'm so sorry.
Are there other performing arts aside from Green Machine? If someone is interested in theater or choir or anything like that, is there opportunities to get involved?
I know I can't entirely speak on other non-band related things because I did band all through high school. I was a clarinet player, so I only really know the band side of things. But there are ways that you can get involved in other groups if you haven't before. For example, I was, like I said, a clarinet player, but I picked up some drums, and I'm learning how to play drums. I know also for like a global understanding credit, actually for the Mason Corps, you can also do like a dance class, like a Middle Eastern dance class. Like I did that, which that's a good way to get involved with that, because you get to meet all the faculty in like the dance, and I'm sure there are other ways in choir and in like other band classes as well, and dance and things like that. But most of those are like intro level classes, which is perfect for people that have no idea, or even just if you do have a little experience and you want to keep it going. There are a bunch of programs like that are available for them.
So thank you. Yeah, and I know there's tons of other student organizations. I know a cappella groups are really popular.
Oh yeah, one of my friends is actually in an a cappella group. Yeah. There's actually, I think there's like 2 or 3. I know there's definitely 2, but they go to competition and do a bunch of other stuff like that too. It's really cool.
Yeah, so tons of opportunities, I'd say, regardless of what your major is. If you have a passion for performing, there's going to be a way for you to do that on campus. The next question we have: has anyone had experience studying abroad and getting an experience, a global experience with Mason? No one?
Mine is it's in a little bit of a gray area. So I did not go through Travel Abroad or Mason themselves. I went through Mason Hillel. And every year they do a trip called the Fact Finders Trip. And this is a trip where they select around 20 to 25 students. And they go to Israel and Palestine. And for 10 days mine was over winter break. I believe some do it during spring break. You basically go and you learn about the conflict between the two. And it was probably one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life. It was absolutely beautiful, but it was also so informative. And so through Mason Hillel, I had an opportunity to travel abroad, and it was incredible.
Yeah, we offer over 200 different study abroad programs. I think one of the things that makes Mason great is that we offer programs during the fall or the spring semester, but we also have them over winter and summer break. And so if you don't necessarily, especially like if you're going to be a student athlete like Ariana, and you can't necessarily go away during a semester, you get that opportunity to do it during a break. And over 200 programs, every major has the opportunity to study abroad. There are all different sorts of cost levels. There are scholarships available, financial aid available. And so it is very possible to get that global experience during your time at Mason. Let's talk about food. That's always a really fun one. So if you all had to pick one favorite food spot on campus, or in general, how would you describe campus food and what it's like to eat?
Globe. I feel like I already said the Globe, but I have to say the Globe again. For the quick overview of Mason dining, we have 3 dining halls on Mason's campus. They're all kind of next to residential neighborhoods, and then there are a smattering of other non-Mason affiliated retailers, we'll call them. So Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, Panera Bread, Chipotle. Basically, if you want it, we have something along those lines. So people can pick whatever they want. The Globe, in my opinion, is fantastic. Whereas Southside and Ike's kind of have your standard. If you want pizza, if you want pasta, if you want the entree of the meal, if you want cereal, whatever you want, they have it. The Globe is a little more refined and niche in that they'll just like have moments where they're like, okay, today is just all halal food, and if you're a picky eater, here's a hot dog. So you can go in and just have an absolutely fantastic food experience, and it's a change of pace from like going to the normal dining hall and admiring all the food and then getting pizza, because pizza always looks good, which I won't tell you that I did, but I'm also not going to deny that I didn't do it. So the Globe is definitely my favorite food place on Mason campus.
Mine would probably be Southside. They have some really, really good pasta. But for social like gatherings, Ike's is a spot, guys, in President's Park. They have really good breakfast, though. I haven't been to breakfast in Southside, but Ike's, they know how to make breakfast. I think that's my favorite spot. But other than dining halls, we have a Chick-fil-A. I forgot to mention that earlier, but Chick-fil-A is my favorite. Chick-fil-A and Chipotle. So if you ever want that, we have that as well.
Yeah, that pasta station and I were very good friends in college. I definitely was a frequent of Southside. So we are
actually on Alfredo Day.
Yes. Oh, the Alfredo. Oh, and the pesto. You got to mix the two. So that's the tip. Okay. I want to move us into our closing because I want to be respectful of everyone's time. And I want to know, why did you choose Mason? What ultimately was that factor that said, this is where I want to be? And then maybe what do you love about it? Like beyond that. So you maybe chose it for one reason, but what was that experience that really stood out to you that maybe is your favorite Mason memory? So two-parter.
Okay, I'll go. So for me, I chose it primarily because of swimming, but Mason's very diverse. Okay, so like diversity is very important for me. I am Japanese and Black, so for me to somehow like fit in one of those categories, Mason has it. They actually have like many clubs. Like they have a Japanese club. Like, so if you're Japanese, you could join that. They have a Black Student Alliance, African Student Association. They have all these clubs that you can join based on your like race, ethnicity. Even if you are not one of those things, you can still join. They still have like many events. So that's what I really like about them. But yeah, my two things that I joined Mason for was because of swimming and because it's very diverse. You will see people from all over the world in probably like a day. And that's what I really, really enjoyed about it. My favorite thing about Mason, probably the opportunities and meeting new people. The amount of connections I've made through Mason is crazy. Like I have people who will probably go pro in sports, or I have people who will probably be like one of the top people in New York. Like I have people who will be working in New York or like in Atlanta, like big cities, and they're gonna just like make a name for themselves. And I just really enjoy that. I love like supporting people, and I think that's also one of my favorite things.
Were you gonna go? Okay. So for me, I also chose Mason for the diversity because where I was from, it wasn't like super diverse, but I wanted to have a different kind of experience because I think everyone owes it to themselves to, especially whenever you have the college experience, to move to somewhere else and to experience different things than you're used to. And that's one of the main things that I really liked about Mason. I feel like Mason was very thorough. It really did feel like home for me. Like I went to a couple colleges and I was like, I don't know, this seems really big. Like there's not many trees. Like it's so spread out. And then I came to Mason, I was like, oh, like, look at all those trees. Like, look at all like the nice buildings and stuff. I mean, the trees really aren't there much anymore because of the construction, but like just in general, like it's a very like homey place to me. And that's one of the reasons why I chose Mason. Also, because I knew they had they have a bunch of really good programs. One of them, like I'm saying, I'm a biology major. They have a very good biology program. So I was very excited to be a part of that. But ultimately, I really do like being a part of Mason because, like I said, the faculty and just the community that it brings people together. Like Mason brings people together that otherwise wouldn't really have that experience too. And that essence of community, I feel like, is one of the reasons why I've stayed.
Nicole kind of took my thunder, but the same reason, but she's perfectly right. The reason why I chose Mason is the same reason why I love Mason. I didn't really know about Mason in high school. I came on a campus tour here and I fell in love. The reason why I came here was because of community. I really felt that this was an area where I could be a fish out of water, but still find a place I can call home. And I truly did. So I would say community and the Mason Nation is my favorite part about Mason.
First of all, David, I'm sorry everybody's taking your thunder today. It's just not your day. Second of all, you guys are going to get the full tour treatment because this is a sappy tour guide moment that I like to pass off at the end of my tours when I give them, which is I think it's a better question to ask when you're talking to a college student or a college tour guide to ask them why they're choosing to stay at a particular school rather than why they chose to go to that school. Because we all know the reality of college transfers are a thing. And so without making you ask that question, I'll just answer for myself. The reasons I choose to stay at Mason are twofold. First of all, going off of what they said, it's just a fantastic place to be. The professors I meet, the staff I work with, the friends that I've made, just kind of make it really feel homey, even though I no longer live with my parents. That whole kind of like sappy 9 yards about this is home away from home moment. That's what Mason feels like to me. And second, you cannot beat the proximity to Washington, D.C. that Mason has. And I know we say that a lot, but you cannot beat going into the city on a weekday for your internship, for your job opportunity, for an interview, for whatever it is you're doing, and go the very next day on Saturday and visit the Air and Space Museum for the 86th time. There are ample resources in both like from a fun, relaxing, recreational standpoint and from a job learning opportunity standpoint. And that's a fantastic resource to have.
Well, thank you all so much for sharing your stories, your reasons why you chose Mason, and all of your great answers today. We know we did not get the opportunity to get to a lot of our questions. This time ran up very quickly, but we are still here to help. Our admissions staff wants to talk to you. We understand the challenges that today's current situations have put us all in. So please reach out to us via email. We have lots of additional virtual opportunities going on between now and that very important May 1st deadline that's coming up. So make sure that you're checking your Mason portal for opportunities to connect with our students, faculty, and staff. We hope that you've enjoyed this glimpse into the Mason Nation. And I have to leave you all with a massive round of applause to our panelists. Thank you all so much for sharing your experience. And one final, go Patriots. Hope you all have a great night, and thank you so much for joining.